Shane Van Gisbergen just had the best oval race of his entire NASCAR career, and somehow it turned into a complete disaster. Let me explain what's happening with the Kiwi driver, and trust me, it's not looking good. SVG started his 2026 NASCAR season at Bowman Gray Stadium in the Cookout Clash. This was supposed to be a fresh start for him in his new number 97 car with Trackhouse Racing. But it turned into one of those nights where everything goes right, then everything goes wrong. The race started pretty normal. Well, normal for Bowman Gray, which is basically organized chaos on a tiny quarter-mile track. Van Gisbergen started back in 17th place, and honestly, the first half wasn't great. He dropped all the way to 23rd, which is dead last. He got pushed up the track by another car and ended up in the marbles. Over the radio, he told his team, "Just full of marbles and he pushed me up there, sorry. It's okay, I just can't do anything." Then things got spicy. SVG got frustrated with drivers bumping him around. He actually spun out Austin Cindric on purpose. After that, he said on the radio, "It's actually all right, but people just keep running into me and I got sick of it." So yeah, he was fed up. Van Gisbergen started having problems with Daniel Suarez. Now, these two were teammates last year at Trackhouse Racing, but this year, Suarez moved to Spire Motorsports because Connor Zilisch took his spot. SVG noticed Suarez was being super aggressive with him. He said over the radio, "It's the third time the number 7 got me for nothing. I guess he's excited he's not my teammate and he can hit me now." Suarez heard about this and had his own message. He told his team, "Tell the number 97 I'm coming for him." So basically, the old teammates were now enemies on the track. At the halfway point, Van Gisbergen was running 15th. Not good, not terrible. Then Mother Nature decided to completely change the race. Rain and sleet started falling from the sky. There was even snow packed up around the track. Everyone had to pit and put on wet weather tires. This is where Shane Van Gisbergen became a different driver. You see, SVG is famous for being amazing in the rain. He proved that back when he raced supercars in Australia. When the race went back to green, he went from 15th to the lead in just 60 laps. He was passing cars left and right. Other drivers were spinning out and crashing, but SVG looked like he was on a Sunday drive. He actually took the lead on lap 140. For the first time in his NASCAR career, Shane Van Gisbergen was leading an oval race. He led for about 13 to 15 laps and was battling with Ryan Preece for the top spot. After the race, he explained what happened. He said, "It was cool to get to the front. We were just trying to search for the grip. The wet weather conditions were very different than what I've raced in supercars, just with the way the corners are and the way the rubber lays down. But there was a problem. The track started drying out. And when that happened, Van Gisbergen's advantage disappeared. Ryan Preece passed him for the lead on lap 156. Still, SVG was running in second place with less than 40 laps to go. A second-place finish at Bowman Gray would have been huge for him. Then disaster struck. Chase Briscoe was running right behind Van Gisbergen. They came up on a restart, and SVG was trying to race hard. Briscoe got a run on him and made the pass. But then, going into turn 3, Briscoe went in too deep. He couldn't slow down enough and drove straight into the back of Van Gisbergen's car. The contact spun SVG around. Over the radio, you could hear the disappointment in his voice. "That's a shame," he said. "It was going well." And it really was. This was probably the best he'd ever run on an oval track in NASCAR. The spin dropped him way back in the field. He restarted in 18th place with 35 laps left. His car wasn't damaged too badly, but there just wasn't enough time to recover. He ended up finishing 20th. To make it worse, his teammate Connor Zilisch accidentally clipped him later and spun himself out too. It was just a rough night all around. After the race, Van Gisbergen tried to stay positive. He said, "It was a good bit of fun. There were moments of brilliance and moments that weren't. But then it started to come back up again and dry up. It was pretty wild. But all in all, happy with our run, and it's a good way to start the season for this number 97 Trackhouse Racing Chevrolet team." But remember that drama with Daniel Suarez? Well, Suarez had some things to say after the race. He finished 4th and was pretty happy about it. When reporters asked him about the rough racing with Van Gisbergen, he didn't hold back. Suarez said, "I race people the same way they race me. I don't know if you've noticed, but But I'm not racist. I love everyone. If they give me love, I give them love. If they give me hate, I give hate. That's the way it works. Then he got more specific about SVG. Van Gisbergen did a couple of things that I didn't like. I pushed him a couple of times as well, but he did it a couple more than what I did. It's part of it. Suárez also said he's seen Van Gisbergen race other people the same aggressive way. And then he dropped this line. He has to know if you're going to race people that way, people are going to race you that way too. That's why he got spun out up front. Basically, Suárez was saying that Van Gisbergen got what he deserved when Briscoe spun him. That's pretty harsh coming from a former teammate. When asked if they needed to talk about it, Suárez said no. I don't have a problem with him. It's just the way that he races. So these two are definitely not friends anymore. Now let's talk about the bigger problem for Shane Van Gisbergen. His entire 2025 season was built on one thing: being amazing at road courses. He won 5 races last year. Every single one was on a road course or street course. He never finished better than 10th place on an oval all season long. But those road course wins got him into the playoffs, and he finished 12th in the championship. Here's the bad news. NASCAR just changed the schedule for 2026. And guess what? They removed 3 tracks from the calendar. The Chicago street course is gone. The race in Mexico City is gone. And the Charlotte Roval is probably gone too. You know what all 3 of those tracks have in common? Shane Van Gisbergen won at every single one of them last year. Think about that. Every track that got removed from the schedule is a track where SVG won. That's not just bad luck, that's a disaster. Now there are only 3 road courses left on the entire NASCAR schedule. Watkins Glen in May, Sonoma in June, and Circuit of the Americas in March. That's it. Just 3 chances for Van Gisbergen to use his biggest strength. This means SVG absolutely has to get better at oval racing if he wants to make the playoffs this year. He can't just wait for road courses anymore. There aren't enough of them. The Bowman Gray race actually showed he can run up front on ovals when conditions are tricky. But can he do it on a regular dry day? That's the big question. The Daytona 500 is next on February 16th. That's a huge oval race, and SVG has never been great at superspeedways, but he has to start figuring it out fast. With only 3 road courses this year, he needs to find speed on ovals or his 2026 season could be a total disaster. The question isn't whether Shane Van Gisbergen is talented. We know he is. The question is whether he can adapt fast enough to survive in a NASCAR world that just took away his biggest advantages. Based on what happened at Bowman Gray, it's going to be one tough ride.